first time coordinator, co-chair for you. Very interested in education, especially this past year when there's been so much focus on high school level. The research certainly shows the importance of early childhood education, along with the President of the United States and Brendon McGee. In Windsor, we have a lack of early childhood centers. We have a building that was a kindergarten school sitting empty for 1 year. It's been back and forth between town and Board of Ed. We can't afford not to have birth to 3 and 4-year-old early childhood education for children, for parent training, for the community. What are the two of you going to do about it for our town? Because if anyone can do it, I know the two of you can make it happen. The board and council at this point, I'm not sure, but I know the two of you can do it.
Well, as the author of the Family and Medical Leave Bill in the state of Connecticut and the author of Families in Training, which was to utilize schools in recognizing that they should serve as both an economical and important point in the continuing education from birth to 3, the training of parents along the lines of nutrition and along the lines of a healthy start, as well as coming up with buildings and facilities that can provide for the daycare and the formative education that will allow and nurture people to grow so that by the time they reach kindergarten and first grade, they are not already lagging behind both nutritionally and also from the standpoint of academically being in the position to learn. So I fully support those. In the United States Congress, we're currently operating under sequester. We're currently operating where we're cutting funds in this particular area. I oppose that because I think that we need to place our money. Now, I also think we need to do things more efficiently and effectively at the state and local levels. I'll give you a perfect example, and Brendon, you can pick up here, and this is something everybody ought to think about. I just spent a lot of time here today talking about 18% of GDP in healthcare. And all of us in communities face problems. Windsor has a Board of Education, does it not? Do you have a superintendent of schools? You do. Do you have a maintenance facility here in Windsor? Yes. Town and Board of Education? I assume? Okay. Well, I ran for governor in this state, some of you may recall, in 1994. And in 1994, I said this: there are 169 municipalities in the state of Connecticut. There are 163 separate autonomous boards of education. Do you think we could coordinate care within our school systems for people that need it? Do you think we could coordinate maintenance and facilitation of our schools along those lines? But every single community will say, no, this is my community and we're going to do it this way. So, yeah, and people say, yes, that's damn right, it's our community and we want the inefficiency. Okay, but that is, think about this, 3.4 million people, 163 superintendents of schools. Part of what we have to do is recognize that if we want the taxpayers to be willing to pay for programs that will coordinate care and do it in a fashion that we're providing education and nutrition, we got to come up with the most cost-effective ways of doing it. Or just be so independently wealthy that we can do it on our own. Now, we have municipalities in the state of Connecticut, not many in this district, I would add, but are capable of doing it on their own and would prefer not to coordinate with other towns and communities. This is a longer-term conversation, but certainly underscores the need for us to look at pre-education as a way to make sure that our kids, as they're entering our school systems, have the healthy start and the best chance at succeeding.
I think the congressman has taken all my points that I would have made, obviously, on the state level, but I've shared this before at one of my other town hall meetings, is that early childhood education is extremely important. And that is something that we need to focus on. However, that conversation, we need to have that on a local level and to figure out how do we identify, even with the private sector, pouring dollars back into our community around that important area, and that is the early childhood education. So it's a really big discussion, but it's something that we're having now, as well as we all know Dr. Villar. He's an awesome superintendent, and working with him to identify those opportunities. So you're definitely a champion for this type of work, and I look forward to working with you in this district.
Thank you.
So Sherman, and then we'll end off with you. Fine, sir. Yes.